What's going on, you guys? Coaster here. By the time you see this, the first game probably concluded already to the Flyers. But I just want to get this off my chest with the Sharks because their season has begun. The NHL is back. And really, the Sharks came off a really disappointing exit in the first round to the Edmonton Oilers. Now this season, nobody is picking the Sharks, and that's fine. I think people are expecting this is kind of an aging core with a bunch of unproven guys. Maybe they overachieved. 3/4 of the year, the Sharks looked like they were a contender, and then things fell off in the middle of March. They had a terrible last quarter to the year, and then they lost to the Oilers. I mean, they were pretty bad at that final stretch, but it is what it is. So what happens now? You have the main core. You have Joe Thornton, who was kept. You have Marc-Edouard Vlasic. You have Pavelski. You have Logan Couture, and of course, Brent Burns. You have your main core guys. Then you have your supporters like Joe Ward, Michael Boedker, who was a disappointing signing a year ago. You have plenty of other bottom six guys, though, like LeBlanc, like Donskoy, and others. I still think this team's supporting cast somewhat rebuilding on the fly. You hope to see more out of Timo Meier. That's the first-round pick. Who knows, though? There's a lot of who knows with this team. They said they looked really good through 3/4 of the year, and then everything fell off and the wheels just collapsed. I wouldn't be surprised one way or another how this team could finish. They could finish in the bottom half and not make the postseason, or they could finish barely in there. Nobody's picking them for a contender in the division. Most people think the other NHL teams like the Oilers, but mainly the two teams in Alberta. A lot of people think those two are going to do a lot this year when you look at the Pacific. The Kings should still be in the hunt. There's all these other teams that are just viewed as higher than the Sharks. That's the big problem. Obviously, the Ducks came off a playoff year. All these other teams looked like they did better. And then there's the Central, which also has a lot of better teams that most people are going to argue. So, the Sharks, they're considered to be on the outside looking in, and that is fine. I like that they're the underdog. I like that no one's picking them. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I do think the Sharks will compete. At least they're not going to go flat and be terrible the entire season. So what happens, worst case scenario, you trade Joe Ward, you try to trade whoever's got an expiring contract, and you work from there. I mean, it's weird that this is the end of an era with no Patrick Marleau, but I don't know if I agree with bringing back Joe Thornton, because I thought you're going to either keep them both or you let them both walk. I'm not into the whole halfway thing. I mean, it's already weird seeing that Marleau's on the Maple Leafs. I have to get used to that, but this team, as said, they're going to be right in the middle. I think this is a transition year where they're still kind of building up the guys like LeBlanc, like Donskoy out on the bottom six. As said, I want to see Timo Meier develop. You got to see those other guys just develop as depth. I know we also lost Schlemko. We welcome ourselves to the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm going to have to get used to that name as well. 31 teams, it's a little crooked looking. I don't know what to think. Those uniforms to me are awful. That's just my opinion. Any opinions you got on the Vegas Golden Knights? I mean, I'm still going to have to get used to that name. But it is what it is. I think they stole the Sharks' goal horn. Is it just me? Or here are the preseason games, I'm just like, meh, whatever. Anyways, Sharks, I don't have high expectations, but I think they'll just be right in the middle and compete. Let me know what y'all think. I think that Martin Jones and Aaron Dell are going to do their job fine. I think last year we saw Aaron Dell have a strong run as a backup goalie, and maybe he could be a trade chip. You just never know what kind of pieces are going to turn into something else later. Like anything, though, Doug Wilson has shown he can keep the team competitive. If they are bad, then yes, it's a rebuilding year. If they're kind of so-so, it's a transition year. That's what most people say, but the most major consensus is that this team is not the contender of the NHL like they have been in maybe a decade ago. Let me know what you all think. See you guys later, and go Sharks.